All right, hey, welcome internet people. We are going to be working on a bit of a remodel. So we have a sink in our little half bath that is basically falling off the wall. So in order to make sure that someone doesn't have a sink fall on them, we're going to go ahead and swap it out with a whole cabinet deal, which I think will look really nice. Hopefully this is a very simple project. Anyway, so here we go. All right, I need to get the official opinion of Grace. Grace, are you ready for the bathroom to be changed out?
Yes.
Yes. So what are we doing in the bathroom? Do you know? Do you have any idea?
Put in a new sink.
A new sink? Yes, we are doing a new sink, but we're actually putting in a whole new stand that the sink's going to go on. So it's going to be a little different than what's there right now. Are you excited? They're thrilled. What about that bathroom is a little wonky right now?
The sink.
What about the sink?
It's falling off the wall.
It's falling off the wall, right? It's old.
And there's a big hole.
And, yep, there's a big hole, so they redid all the water and stuff. So we're going to cover that up. And then what about the actual, like, sink part?
Thing to turn it on.
The handle?
Yeah, the handle fell off.
Yeah. So, you excited?
Yeah.
I suppose, how excited can you be about a new sink? So, anyway. So the first step is actually to unhook the water lines. So I've turned the water off and now, yeah, gonna unhook the water and hopefully catch the extra water in our trash can. It's probably not a great idea, but. So now I'm going to just unhook the drain and then we can basically unbolt this thing and I think just take the whole thing off. So just to show you here real quick what I'm talking about when this thing kind of is almost falling off the wall. You can see it pulling off of the wall right over here. So I think you can see it right there. There you go. Like, coming off the wall, and that's because right under here we don't have even a bolt on that, and then so basically it's just holding on by one bolt. The other issue here, beyond just getting a new sink so it doesn't fall off the wall, this one here that we're going to install hopefully will allow the door to come all the way open, because, well, if you see here, when I open the door, hits the sink. So we've never really been able to open this door fully, all the way open. So with this, hopefully it will open all the way. That's our hope. Yuck, that is so gross. Oh. So a little bit of an update here. I'm gonna shut this, so I have a little more space and room. But As you can see, this was held up by a bracket, so I'm going to have to take this bracket off. Hopefully it comes off easily, we'll see. And yeah, then all of this should be covered up by the new sink attachment that we're going to put here. So you probably heard it said something's only worth what someone else is willing to pay for it, or goes something like that. But that got me thinking a lot about value and worth, and where we place value and worth on things, and is very true, especially when you think about items, garage sales, antique stores. Things are only worth what people are willing to pay. And that's the beauty of like garage sales, I can have something that's absolute garbage, I think, and yet it's worth something because someone's willing to pay for it, and even pay a lot for it, depending on what it is. But I guess what got me thinking about this is, for one reason or another, I think all of us deal with and struggle with finding value and worth in ourselves, as individuals, as human beings. Though people aren't paying for our value or worth, they are providing input that in turn does, in some ways, creates a value or worth system within us. I had a couple thoughts about this that I want to share with you as we continue to work on this. I think this is going to come off, actually, so I'm pretty happy about that. But I want to just start real quick by giving you just a definition of value and worth. And I'm going to read it off my phone because I want to get this right. Value, simply put, is regarding something that's held with importance, worth, or usefulness. And then the definition for worth, which is closely related here, is the value equivalent to that of someone or something under consideration, the level at which someone or something deserves to be valued or rated. So really, you can see kind of both of those words describe each other. So our value and worth really is almost the same thing. And I'm not really here to get into the semantics of, these two words. What I really want to do is get to the bottom of where we or where you find your value and worth, because we all have something that's giving voice to our value and worth. And what is that for you? What is it that's spoken the most into your life about your value and worth as a person, as a husband, as a wife, as a parent, as a student, as what's had the biggest voice in determining your value and worth? I'll give you a couple of examples here in a minute. Let me get this off. Success, I got it. So I ran into a little bit of a problem. I got this bolt sitting out here. I think you can see it there. Yep. So this bolt, I think I need to use a hacksaw and just cut it off. So I'm gonna go get that and I'll be right back. Woo-wee! Well, yikes. Maybe not quite as far down as I wanted to get, but I think that'll do. I don't think the cabinet needs to get that far back in there. So anyway, we move on. So who gets to determine your value and worth? Unfortunately, there are so many other voices that have input into this, whether we realize it or not. Oftentimes those who are closest to us, especially our family growing up, for instance, have the most input in this area. How we value ourselves, or our self-worth, for better or for worse. So let's just take the definition of value, and that's the importance of something or the usefulness of something. As I mentioned, what are the things that are speaking value and worth into your life, or that you can think of? I already mentioned family, which I think is probably the biggest one, but what are some other areas? I would say our workplace, bosses, co-workers. I would also say social media is a very huge and growing space where we're looking for value and worth from those who like our posts and who comment nice things. And when they don't, right, that can affect our sense of value and worth. Then there's also our friends, what they say about us, how they encourage us, all of those different things can play a part, finding value and worth in ourselves. All right, the time has finally come to cut open the box. All right, so yeah, I think this is gonna work really well. I kind of like the size. The design's really nice. I think it's about the same height as the old one. Maybe a little shorter, so that might be a bit of an issue, but we will make it work. So let's get it in there. But first, a very important coffee break. Very good. This is Hannah. What's she doing? She's looking for food because she didn't eat her lunch. Do you have anything to say? Yep. Don't let the cuteness fool you. Because... Alright, so it is officially in. My goodness, it is so bright. Okay, so it is officially in. Well, it's sitting here. And as you can see, yeah, looks really good. Light is a little off, but that's in place. So the next step that I need to do is attach, obviously, the sink handle down here, the drain, and all of those components that I just took off on the other one. However, I do need some parts because I need to find some sort of, it didn't come with any L brackets to this door, any L brackets to attach this to the wall. So that's concerning. I need to attach this to the wall. And then also, I'll probably need an extension for the drain trap. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Because for whatever reason, old sinks are a little deeper. This one's more shallow, so it needs a little more extension going down. So I'm gonna go to the store, grab those, and I'll be right back. Hey, so I'm down here at the store and I wanted to take a moment, but I wanted to talk briefly about what happens when we start searching for our value and worth in those other places. And oftentimes this starts happening, like I've said, without us even realizing it. But what happens is a couple of things. The first one is that we start searching for validation and we start changing who we are in order to get that affirmation from other people in whatever area it is that we're looking for it. We become a different person, our values change, or they can be wishy-washy, like we'll just kind of go along with whatever gets us that validation, whatever gets us that worth or value. And hopefully you see just the danger of that. I mean, it can lead you down some really, really scary paths when we start looking for worth and value from people who really don't have any business telling us our worth or value. And then the second part of that is whatever that voice is or those voices are that we're trying to find our value and worth from, those things then start defining us and really creating an identity that's probably not really who you are. I know this is a really, really big subject, and I honestly can only speak to little bits of this stuff, but I do feel that it's so important that we find our value and worth in the right places, because ultimately that does create an identity that does define us in many ways. And I just want everybody to know, you especially, that you don't need to be defined by other people or other sources, and you don't need to find your value or worth in other places, because that will just let you down every single time. Alright, so I did get a few brackets, and I got some piping that I think will work. So yeah, let's see if we can put this together now. Alright, it looks like I have pretty much everything hooked up in here other than the water lines, but I'll get that as soon as I put the not sink, but the faucet on top. Is it a faucet? I don't know. Whatever. So of course, this was the line from the old one. And it's 16 inches and I need like 20 inches. So I had to go get 2 new lines for the faucet to hook it up. Alright, so here is the moment of truth. Let's see if it works. Okay, alright. Everything's working up here. Let's see down here. Alright, I don't see any leaks, so I think I did it. First try. Cool. Looks kind of nice. I like it. I know this is kind of a weird place to end the vlog, but really to have this whole conversation in a bathroom. Okay, I get it. Very odd. But I did just want to end the conversation about your value and worth. And ultimately, as I've been kind of leading up to, when you look for it or find it or chase it in other things, ultimately you are going to be the value of what that thing or that person puts on you. And ultimately that's going to be unsatisfying. It's going to be a roller coaster up and down. And ultimately it can lead to some really serious mental health issues or just crisis in your life. So that's kind of all the negative, but what's the solution? If you can't find ultimate value in people or things or bosses or social media or all the things that we look for, who can we find our value and worth in? Well, if you didn't know it was headed this direction, it's Jesus. It's ultimately where I find my value and worth. And if you think about it, to find your worth and value in something that's unmovable and unchangeable, it's such a relief. Like, you know, scripture says that he knows me, he loves me, and there's nothing that can change that. And that's true value and worth. And furthermore, when you go back to the illustration of something's only worth what someone's willing to pay for it. Well, Jesus paid it all on the cross for me. He gave his life on my behalf. I can't think of any greater price that's been paid on my behalf for my value and my worth. So just something to think about. I don't know where you are on your faith journey. If you're a follower of Christ, lean into that. Know that Jesus dictates and determines your value and worth. If you have not put your faith and trust in Jesus and you've been chasing that value and worth, or you've been searching for it elsewhere, might I encourage you to search for it in Jesus. I'd love to have a conversation with you, or maybe someone you know in your life who knows Jesus and has found that they can share a little more information as well. All right, that's it for this one. I have a brand new bathroom sink, which is going to be awesome. No more hoping it doesn't fall off the wall or pull the wall down. So, all right. Hey, see you guys next time.